shot there. Kind of just give me the overall sense of Riviera.
Yeah, in Riviera in those days, I mean, the unique thing is George Thomas built Riviera in 1926, and then he also built Los Angeles Country Club in 27 and Bel Air Country Club in 1928, which is pretty unique that those three iconic venues were really all built within that time. Riviera had hosted the Los Angeles Open for several years, a great venue. There's not a drop of water on the entire golf course. They've got a bunker, in a green, so it was a very, very unique venue. In those days, it was riddled with stars. I mean, it had certainly the celebrities that had been very prominent and prevalent throughout the Los Angeles area, so it had a certain buzz about it. The golf club had been bought recently by Japanese ownership, the Watanabe family, that still owns the golf course to this day. And they were very much supportive of golf, and they were very supportive of our event at that time. So you had this iconic venue for this great title sponsor in Nissan, run by the Los Angeles Junior Chamber of Commerce. So we really had a great confluence of partnerships.
What did the tournament mean to Los Angeles? I mean, was it something that you felt like the city kind of looked forward to every year?
It was interesting because we would park people 25 minutes away at the VA and bus them over on school buses, and we would get 150,000 people to 180,000 people that would come over each year in February, generally in very average weather, and support the event. So there was a tremendous amount of support and excitement really around the Nissan Los Angeles Open in those days.
What was the first you had heard of Tiger Woods? I mean, and we can even go back to 2 years before when you kind of brought up the idea when he was 14. But what was the first you had ever heard of this kid?
Well, in those days, all your news sources were really the Los Angeles, the LA Times, and the Orange County Register. And they both had golf writers that covered a lot of amateur golf. And in those days, Tiger was winning a lot of amateur tournaments. He was winning the Junior Worlds down in San Diego, and he was competing and winning. He had appeared, Jim Hill, on KCBS TV and had him on his TV show, a few times. So there was a buzz around him being from Orange County, being this, young person, of mixed ethnicity that was winning a lot of tournaments. So there was awareness within the golf community in Los Angeles who he was.
Did you go see him play? Like what? So it's 1990. What's the thought process? What's going on?
Well, my thought process always was that if you...
I'm sorry, if you could say like in 1990.
Yeah, in 1990, the thought process for me really was if you could give a spot, an exemption to a young player who could come up and play in your event, and then come back and participate and support that event over the years, that was really the strategy. And here you have this young person of color in this community who is a great amateur golfer, to have him come and make his professional debut and be the youngest player ever to play in a PGA Tour event at that time. It was, to me, an exciting proposal, an exciting opportunity, because his game clearly was there, and it was something that I thought that would bring a lot of awareness to our tournament as well.
Had you seen him play, or this is just stuff you had read?
Just really everything I've read in the newspaper, and certainly things that maybe I'd watched on TV, but I had never watched him play an amateur junior tournament before.
So you had no idea what you'd be getting if this was to be approved?
No, I didn't, and I was a little concerned because in those days there were certainly a lot of reports of the parents of these protégés and what you were really going to get out of them. And when I reached out to Earl Woods, I was pleasantly surprised at what a gentleman he was and what a gentleman Tiger was as well.
So who do you have to take this idea to get it approved?
Well, the structure really in those days is we had an executive director of the Los Angeles Junior Chamber of Commerce who I reported to, and then we had a volunteer chairman who each year was a young professional in the community that rotated through, and that was really the committee. And at that point, I presented the idea, and I think in 1990 for the 1991 event, he would have been then 15. I think people were were somewhat shocked at my proposal, and I had only been there for a few years, so I think that I set them back a little bit, and I think they were concerned that he wouldn't be able to play and wouldn't be able to be competitive.
So what was your pitch? Like, what did you go into this room with them, I assume, and what do you say to them? I got this kid who I think could play a PGA Tour.
These guys had all heard of Tiger Woods, and they were all certainly aware. And my pitch really was, you've got this young person who will be 15 years of age. We have an opportunity really to set a record to have him be the youngest player ever to enter a PGA Tour event. He's winning junior tournaments. He's from the greater Los Angeles area. He certainly is going to make a big impact in this game. And it was apparent. Did I think he would win 14 majors? No. I didn't know how many majors he was going to win, but you knew he was a can't-miss junior amateur player that had a great future ahead of him.
So